Greetings and welcome back to Red Room. So it's been a long time, but I've been very busy working on a new McFarlane project, and this is the results. So this is Chaos, Biggy, the Slaanesh version, yeah. And we're going to cut this into two different videos because it's too long as it is. And yeah, first video is all about his armour, and the second will be all of the gold, the trim, the niceties, his base and everything else. So I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you at the end of the video. We start like we began last year with ourselves a Biggy, a McFarlane Chaos Space Marine that we are going to be turning into an Emperor's Children to match my other half's kill team. So we're going to be getting rid of this generic chaos symbol because he's certainly no black legionary. So yeah, we're going to remove this using some nail polish remover, some acetone. Everything else is fine. There's no need to go over that with acetone at all. And we've got a few more mould lines to remove, but I won't show you that. I think you are more than capable of imagining what that might look like. And then we're going to sculpt ourselves a lovely Slaanesh symbol on his pauldron. So let's get on with it. So now we're going to do the symbol. Use some wonderful epoxy sculpt. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But milliput is fine, green stuff is fine. This stuff is quite expensive, I think, so please do not worry. Please do not feel that you need to get this as opposed to a cheaper alternative. You can definitely make do, or more than make do in fact. So making sure evenly mixed. And there is a lot to be said for leaving it to cure a little bit when you're doing something quite straight and regimented, because otherwise you might find things tend to cling and stick rather than just go down nicely. The other major tip I found with using green stuff or anything like this is water is your flour. If you were using pastry, it's the thing that stops it sticking. So yeah, use that to your advantage. And you'll be pleased to know that I still have my absolutely brilliant Slaanesh symbol to rely on, so we will not be messing this up. That is a very faithful reenactment of the thing. So we're going to stick a blob here. And Luna's going to cry at me. Oh, such a cutie. What we're going to do, everybody, is use this here lid of my wow stick. My superb little drilly thing. And yeah, we're going to use that to make a perfect circle. And then we're going to remove the excess. Like so. Like we're a professional who knows what they're doing. And here is the dried design, and we are now going to sand that down. We're going to use one of these sanding strips. This is 320 grit. You can buy a pack of these. They come in multiple, like 5 different grits. I can't remember, but they're not expensive at all, and they're very useful. Good for removing mould lines. This is the finest grit one that you get. After our first sanding, we are looking like that. So we're going to go on and use some 800 grit sandpaper to perfect the finish. And then it will be time to get painting. Okay, our paint is mixed up, so it's time to get spraying. And this is where we are now after spraying him. Not massively concerned about the overall finish of the purple, because this is just going to be a base coat. Hopefully none of this will really show through that much once we've done everything and applied the contrast paint. Okay, time to start doing the armour. We'll focus on doing a leg, and then we'll extrapolate that whole process across the whole model and show you the highlights. So we're going to use Cacophony Purple. And we're going to slap this on with, no great amount of finesse. And then we're going to blend it into the royal purple before we cover it in a nice layer of contrast paint, Major's purple, which will hopefully tie everything together. We might use T'Challa Lilac as our edge highlight as well. So and this may seem very, very light, but the contrast paint makes all the difference, and it covers up a lot of sins, so you can be bold, you can afford to be bold. All of this trim will be being painted black, so again, not worried about making too much of a mess here. I could use an airbrush to do this, but yeah, I think I get more control this way. So I've got to remind myself I cannot do anything else with this model until I've finished this stage, because I want to spray it all again, and it will just, yeah, it's not going to go well if we do it that way. Just leaving the recesses a nice deep purple before we blend. Because sometimes I find that if you try to just build up the highlights gradually, build up the volumes gradually, you never actually get to the point you're really aiming for, because you're trying to do it in such little increments. Also, the amount of the lighter colour ends up being so small, it's not really adding anything, so now we're going to get ourselves our royal purple. We put that over here. I'm just going to work it into this paint. I'm not too concerned about getting a perfect wet blend here. We can deal with that in a minute.
This is the view from Red Room. This is the view from Red Room. This is the view from Red Room. View from Red Room. This is the this is the this view from Red Room. View from Red Room. View from Red Room. View.
And we will continue that process now until we're finished, and then we will get on with the spraying. This is where we are now with our Chaos Marine. So, we're going to do the final edge highlights.
This is the view from Red Room.
Using a shade lighter, using some of this T'Challa lilac. So you can see how much wet blending went on from the state of my wet palette. So because of the way that Chaos Space Marines are always done, they've got a large amount of trim around their armour, so there's not actually all that much edge highlighting to do. I'm not being particularly careful here, because I think I may go still a shade lighter just for these crisper edges, because the contrast paint that I'm going to apply, it does really darken things down.
This is the view from Red Room. the view from Red Room.
All the edge highlighting is done now, or that first bit anyway, so we're going to add a little bit of white to our T'Challa lilac. I was going to use Slaanesh grey, but it's not the right kind of colour. It's not truly light enough, and it's a little bit too grey rather than the kind of purples we're working with. So, and this is where we are just going to do very, very. She says not doing it very, very fine, but yeah, this is where we're going to just do fine edge highlights now. And here is Biggy now, having had all of his edge highlighting done. Again, there's not been a massive amount of finesse done thus far because I don't feel that we need to worry too much. Hopefully I won't regret that attitude. So now we're going to get spraying with the contrast paint. We're going to be using a Majos purple for this. Let's hope we've got enough. So the good thing with contrast paint is it's already thin enough, so we don't have to worry about thinning it down at all. Ooh. So I think I'm going to start from the bottom and work upwards. You will also notice that unlike last year's project, I'm doing this all attached. I'm not disassembling him in any way, shape or form. I found that the process last year was so destructive and caused so much damage to the paintwork that I can't bear it. So I'm just going to do him like this now and hope for the best. Okay, so let's get cracking. And there's still a blockage on the hairbrush. Curses. Dare say we've finished. Now we're going to leave it all to dry. It's come up in this very sort of matte kind of. It reminds me of sort of grapes, that kind of skin on them. Which, to be honest, is quite appropriate for something like the Emperor's Children. Very bacchanalian, yeah. Yes. Yes, we will leave that to dry and then we will move on to doing the black. So this is where we are now, having completed all of that spraying with the contrast paint. And as you can see from the elbow joints, the contrast paint does a really good job of just smoothing out everything nicely. So you don't have to worry about putting on the edge highlights with any great finesse. It's done, yeah. And same with the feet. You can see it's really worked well there. And you may think, oh, I'm going too light with these highlights, but it doesn't actually matter because the contrast paint will tie everything in nicely. So very pleased with how that's come out. So now we're going to be moving on to the black. There's going to be quite a lot to do here because we've got a lot of trim. All of the edges of these pauldrons, all of the articulated bits as well to do. So I will show you a little bit of that, and and do the rest, and then we'll get into highlighting all of this, which I'll probably focus on something like this because it's the most interesting bit of texture we've got here for the black. So let's get on with it. These horns and sort of clawy bits we're not going to paint black, we're going to paint them like they are actual horns. Demonic protrusions coming from the corrupted armour. Oh yes, very grimdark. Okay, I will get back to you when we've done some more. Okay, so after doing all of the black, here is how he is looking. So I'm now going to start highlighting all of this, you know, for grey highlights. And I'm going to focus mostly on doing this bit, and I will breeze through the rest of this, and then we'll get on to doing the other bits, the metal stuff. Yeah. And then the only exception is going to be I will cover how we're going to highlight the face, because I'm going to do an OSL effect with the eyes. We're going to go for glowing, because I felt that having done the last kill team member, it didn't, the dark green doesn't really scan very well with the black trim all around it, so I feel that we're better off going for a nice glowy effect to counteract how dark it all is otherwise. So that is what we're going to be doing, so I will focus on that particular bit of black highlighting when we get there. So yeah, let's crack on. So we're going to put down some black from Vallejo, but any black at all will do. We're also going to use dark grey from Vallejo. Our end stage highlight will be Administratum Grey from Citadel. And we are using Rosemary & Co. brushes still. This is a 001, I guess. Yeah. So we're going to be pretty liberal, because we will be darkening this down with a wash. And now we're going to go up a stage. Thin your paints, thin your paints. So mixing the Administratum grey and the dark grey. We're now going to apply this as our secondary highlight. As always, we leave a little bit less on this than the previous coat. Okay, I think we are done. So we will now move on to our last highlight. We're going to still blend some Administratum grey into this dark grey. I don't want to just use straight up Administratum grey. I think it's a little bit too bright. You have to be careful with your black because you don't want to over highlight it. But as I say, we will be darkening this down by putting a wash on it, so. And this is just really, just edge highlighting. Okay, and now I think we're at a point where we can look at doing a wash. So we're going to use some black wash from Vallejo for this. And we'll move up to a regiment brush from the Army Painter. And we're just going to apply this liberally. Carefully, but liberally. I prefer to use the Vallejo wash for this rather than Nuln Oil because it leaves a lot of black pigment in the recesses, which isn't ideal for other things. I prefer Nuln Oil for doing metallics, silver metallics and things, but I think here it does give a better effect, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, well, we will let that dry now, and I will continue the process all the way around to Biggy, and then we will get back to you. And here is our Chaos Biggy with all his black highlights done. So, with that is the main bits of his armour finished, but you will notice that I haven't done anything with his face, and that's because we're going to do some OSL with that, so we're going to focus on that now. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. We go much lighter than we would normally for a highlight, because we're going to use some fluorescent green. So we're going to have some white. We're going to have some ultimate grey. Some Administratum grey. Our good old friend dark grey. And then a little smidge of black. So we're going to be doing reasonably fine work. We're going to use a 2.0 Rosemary & Co brush. I'm going to start off with the lightest first, because otherwise we may never get to that really light point, I find. There's lots of ways to go about this technique. I could use an airbrush, I could use dry brushing. Let's zoom in a little bit. Hello, Biggy. So having experimented with different ways of doing plasma effects. Yeah. I think I'm settling on this kind of way. I think maybe. Now I want to make it slightly darker. I mean, only slightly. Sort of flowing brilliantly well. We're going to leave the outline of the lenses black just for the sake of definition. We may change our minds later, I don't know. Okay, we're gonna start dialing this all down. All these angles on his helmet should make for a cool effect, I hope. We want to blend this all into the black. The rest of the helmet will be highlighted as I've already showed you. That will be exactly the same. Okay. So now we will apply a lovely fluorescent green. I need to invest in one of those paint mixers because some of these paints, especially these fluorescent ones, are stubbornly hard to get any joy out of. So, and away we go. Very thin stuff, this, which is a blessing and a curse. Glowy. Well, the temptation is just to keep flooding it with loads and loads and loads of paint to try and make up for its lack of opacity, but no, I need to resist that and I need to just be calm and simply let it dry and paint some more on when it's finished, when it's dry. I mustn't forget other bits that need a bit of OSL, a little bit of highlighting. Can't do all of it because so much of this isn't complete, but I can do these bits. The brighter bits, the bits nearest to the source of lighting. OSL stands for, I believe, one source lighting or object source lighting. Okay, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please like, share, subscribe and comment. All helps with engagement and moving me towards my goal of being monetized. And I will see you in the next part, which will be uploaded next week. Bye!